many folks have said, more famously, Charlie Munger has said, invert, always invert, right? Like inversion. Try to figure out what not to do. And I think there is a very important lesson there because most people are trying to figure out what to do. But the observation is if you're fairly smart, then you will likely be more successful if you can better understand what not to do because you already have the ability and the skills to know what are the 2 or 3 possible right things to do. You want to avoid going down the wrong path as much as possible. For many situations in our work, there is a massive cost, both a real cost and an opportunity cost of taking the wrong path. And it's not very easy to just say, oh, this is the wrong path, so let's backtrack, right? A lot of what I write about is exactly this, which is what paths to avoid. There are so many things that one should consider not doing as a PM. The main thing I'll perhaps share is that we need to be very, very cognizant of our own cognitive biases as well as the cognitive biases that we fall prey to as a team. One that I'll share is what I call the execution orientation fallacy. So this execution orientation fallacy takes the form of we tend to get attracted to things that we know we can execute easily. And as a team, we will take on those things at the expense of taking on more ambiguous work, which is actually going to have a larger impact. And this happens all the time on teams. When you're doing sprint planning or quarterly planning, most of the average teams that don't achieve really great results or outcomes and are constantly facing problems, they fall prey to execution orientation fallacy all the time. And their justification is this is low-hanging fruit, or this is very well defined, or this customer asked for it, so we're going to build it. But if you kind of almost only do things that are very clear and you don't take on ambiguous problems, what's going to happen is you're basically going to build a very average product. Because guess what? Your competitor is doing the same thing. So how are you going to differentiate? And many people think, oh, we're going to differentiate with our execution speed. But you can't really do that unless you are just a very, very nimble 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% organization. You can't always differentiate through your execution speed. So this execution orientation fallacy is an example of the kind of thing that once you understand, you will not follow certain paths. And I'm not saying don't ever work on things that are easy or don't ever work on things that are very clear, but we've got to have a much more balanced view of the kinds of things we take on as priorities.